Welcome, dear friends. Today's podcast draws its inspiration from the spiritual classic Divine Intimacy, Meditations on the Interior Life for Every Day of the Liturgical Year by Father Gabriel of St. Mary Magdalene, OCD. For more Carmelite resources, visit the General Curia of the Teresian Carmel at discalcedcarmelite.com. Now let us begin our journey into Father Gabriel's profound spiritual insights.
Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring reflections on divine intimacy.
Oh, nice.
And we're looking specifically at Meditations 11, 13.
Right.
These meditations really focus on that beautiful idea of seeking God within ourselves and kind of discovering Him in the quiet depths of our own hearts in prayer and even in our everyday actions. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is really beautiful and intimate journey.
Absolutely. And it's something that's very central to the Carmelite tradition, this idea that God resides within us. It's such a powerful concept. You know, it's like discovering a hidden treasure, this source of infinite love and peace right at the center of our being.
It really is. And you know, even Jesus himself spoke about this. In Luke 17.21, he says, the kingdom of God is within you.
Right.
And St. Teresa of Avila, she echoes this in Way of Perfection. She says that we don't need wings to find God. We just need a quiet place within ourselves.
That's such a powerful image. And it really kind of begs the question, if this divine presence is already within us, why does it often feel so elusive? Why do we struggle to experience this intimacy with God in a tangible way?
Such a real question for so many of us, I think.
Yeah.
And I know we know in our heads and in our hearts that God is there, but we just quite seem to connect. Sometimes we feel like we're just searching in the dark a little bit. And St. John of the Cross, he speaks to this, I think, quite beautifully in Spiritual Canticle.
Yeah.
He talks about this need to go forth from worldly attachments to find God who is hidden within.
I see. So it's like we have to make this conscious effort to detach, to let go of things that are holding us back from experiencing that presence.
It's not necessarily about giving up everything we own and, you know, going to live in a cave somewhere, but it's really about letting go of those attachments, those desires, those distractions that keep our focus on the outside world rather than the presence of God within.
Absolutely. It's like we're so often focused on chasing after things, achieving things in the external world that we forget about that inner treasure.
Exactly. And so this going forth really becomes this act of purification.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stripping away of everything that's kind of superfluous in our lives.
Right.
So we can really get to that essential truth, which is that God is already there.
And that reminds me of what St. Paul says in Colossians. He says, you are dead and your life is hid with Christ in God.
Wow.
That's a powerful statement.
That is. And that's in Colossians 3.3.
Yes. And,
you know, this concept of spiritual death is really central to this whole idea of the inward journey. Yeah. You know, it's about dying to ourselves.
It is about letting go of the ego and all its demands.
And then in Spiritual Canticle, St. John of the Cross, he uses this really beautiful analogy to illustrate this. It's the parable of the hidden treasure.
I see.
And he talks about this wise merchant who's willing to give up everything he owns to obtain this precious pearl.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it? Yeah. And the pearl represents God.
Yeah.
And so that merchant's willingness to sacrifice everything to get that pearl is a representation of the detachment and single-mindedness that we need in order to find God.
That makes sense. So this going forth, it leads us to a state of what we often call recollection.
Right.
This turning inward where we can actually start to perceive the presence of God.
And that's really the key, isn't it?
It is. It's about cultivating that inner silence, that stillness of the mind and heart. Yeah. So that we can actually become receptive to God's presence.
And this is where prayer becomes essential.
Absolutely. It's the bridge that connects us to that inner sanctuary where God dwells.
Meditation 12 dives into this practice of seeking God through prayer.
Okay.
And we're all familiar, I think, with those words from Matthew 6.6. When you pray, go into your room and shut the door.
Right.
But what does it really mean to shut the door in the context of cultivating this interconnection with God?
It's a great question. And I think it's important to remember that it's not just about finding a physical space that's free from distractions,
Right.
although that can be helpful. But St. John of the Cross talks about this deeper shutting out that needs to take place.
Yeah.
Shutting out our own will, our own desires,
Right.
any thoughts that are pulling us away from God. It's about creating a space of interior solitude.
So it's really about cultivating that inner quiet, that stillness that allows us to really hear the whisper of God's voice.
That's beautifully put. And it's not about forcing our minds to be blank.
Right.
Which can be very difficult.
Right. It's more of
but about gently releasing those thoughts that are distracting us from focusing on God, creating that receptive space within.
Beautiful.
So that we can receive his grace.
And it's in that space of receptivity.
Yeah.
I think that true prayer can blossom.
It is.
And we really move beyond just reciting words.
Yeah.
And we enter into this deeper communion, this heart-to-heart conversation with the divine.
And this practice of recollection, this interior solitude, it's not just confined to moments of formal prayer.
Right.
It's something we can carry with us into every aspect of our lives.
So we're moving beyond our prayer closets and bringing that stillness with us into the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
But it's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, with the demands of modern life, how do we cultivate that inner solitude when we're surrounded by so much noise and chaos?
Well, that's exactly what Meditation 13 addresses.
Okay.
It shifts the focus from our dedicated prayer time to the more ordinary moments of our day,
I see.
reminding us that God's presence is not limited to certain times or places.
That's an important point.
Yeah.
Our spiritual journey isn't separate from our lives.
Yeah.
It's woven into everything we do.
Exactly. And even in the midst of our most mundane tasks, we have opportunities to encounter God.
So it's all about shifting our perspective.
Yeah.
Seeing those daily duties, not as chores, but as chances to connect with the divine.
It's like turning those ordinary actions into prayers.
And in Colossians 3:17, it says, "Whatsoever you do in word or in work, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ."
A beautiful reminder to approach everything with that intentionality.
Even something as simple as washing dishes or folding laundry.
Absolutely. And St. John of the Cross in his counsels, he talks about maintaining interior solitude, even while we're engaged in those activities.
So it's not about physically separating ourselves from the world.
Right.
But more about that inner detachment.
Exactly. It's about detaching from the anxieties and distractions that pull us away from God.
That sounds like a really tall order, though. I mean, how do we actually do that?
Well, it's a practice.
Okay.
And like any skill, it takes time and effort to develop.
So each time we choose to turn away from those distractions, each time we redirect our focus to God, we're strengthening our ability to find that interior solitude.
We're building a sanctuary within a place of peace that we can access no matter where we are or what we're doing.
That's a beautiful image.
Yeah.
And it connects to that idea of transforming our actions into prayers.
It does. When we approach everything we do with love and intention, knowing that God is present in that moment, our actions become infused with a deeper meaning.
We're co-creating with God.
Exactly.
Bringing his love and grace into the world.
It's a powerful way to live.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that holiness isn't something that's out of reach. It's right here in the ordinary moments of our lives.
So we're called to live with this awareness of God in every moment. But, life isn't always easy.
Right.
We get stressed. We get distracted.
Yeah.
Things happen. And it's not always easy to maintain that sense of presence.
You're absolutely right. This journey of seeking God within, it's not about achieving some kind of perfect state of constant communion.
Right.
It's a process, a lifelong journey. And there are going to be those moments of profound connection. And there are going to be those times when we feel lost.
So those times when we feel lost or disconnected from God.
Yeah.
That's just a natural part of the spiritual journey.
It is. It's not about beating ourselves up for those moments, but about gently redirecting our focus back to that source of love and peace that's within us.
And these meditations that we've been talking about, from Reflections on Divine Intimacy, they kind of offer us these tools to help us navigate those ups and downs.
They do. They're not about achieving some unattainable ideal, but about guiding us back to that place of inner stillness where we can connect with God.
And they're really leading us to that ultimate destination, which is the discovery of God within our own hearts.
That's right. And it's a journey that we undertake out of love. The colloquies at the end of each of these meditations, they really express that yearning for union with God.
And they're so simple, but also so profound.
They are. They're these simple expressions of the heart's longing for connection.
Yeah. And they remind us that this whole journey is about love.
It is. It's about falling in love with God, with the beauty of his presence within us.
And allowing that love to transform us so we can experience this intimacy with God.
Yeah.
Not just in our prayer time,
right,
but in every aspect of our lives.
It's an amazing thought, isn't it? And it's a challenge.
It is.
But it's a challenge that leads to such a richer and more meaningful existence.
So as we continue to explore these meditations and delve into the wisdom of St. Teresa of Avila and St. John of the Cross, we're really embarking on this journey of self-discovery that leads us back to God.
Beautifully put. And it's a journey that unfolds not in some grand gestures, but in the quiet moments of our everyday lives.
As we learn to recognize his presence in everything.
In every breath, in every encounter. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into divine intimacy. And I encourage you to keep exploring reflections on divine intimacy and the writings of these great Carmelite saints.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful reminder that God truly does dwell within us, just waiting to be discovered.
He does.
May you find solace and inspiration in that knowledge. Until next time, may peace and God's blessings be with you.
Thank you so much for listening, praying, and being part of this journey. I'd love to hear from you, what you enjoyed, what you'd like to hear in the future, or just your thoughts. Your feedback means so much. Until next time, may God bless us and keep us close to his heart. Take care and see you soon.